Everybody wants somebody else to take care of them. And I understand in the system where you get hurt, the system is supposed to take care of you. But I see a little bit more need for participation. Maybe the employer should educate the people. If you get hurt, this is what you do.
Yeah.
If they just told them azica.gov, they could file their claim. Oh, my employer didn't tell me that. My employer didn't do this. And they don't know. And maybe if the employer would take them to the hospital a couple of times, that might be nice, or send them a get well card. People get really, really upset that they're not being listened to. That's the biggest. No one listens to me. I go to my doctor. He zoom me in, zoom me out. And I didn't tell him about my other shoulder. Mostly my elbow was broken, but that shoulder was bothering me. So then that doesn't become part of the claim. Oh, gee, it wasn't documented right away. So I think if we could use a little common sense, it's getting better. The Industrial Commission has made lots of strides in overnight in having a portal. We file everything electronically. You can go on and look at your own portal. You can look at the hearings that are set for today and for the week, and you can file your own claims.
Okay.
And they have lots of educational material on the Industrial Commission website, but trying to get the worker who isn't tuned into doing this.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's
Interesting.
It's almost like we should teach people in high school how to do it. In the old days we taught them how to balance a checkbook. We don't do that anymore.
Something practical.
No one has checkbooks, but it's something practical on how to maneuver through the system. We could have the system compressed a little bit in terms of the time. Again, these are people's lives, and not only the injured worker, the entire family is affected.
Yeah.
The children, the spouse. If we could just get the system moving a little faster, we'd all be better off.
If you actually look, in a lot of cases, workers' comp rates are going down, which isn't typically happening in other parts of insurance. And the reason is that people are doing the sort of thing that I've been preaching, that a lot of us have been preaching for a while now, which is prevention. Right. So I tell people that nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to go buy an insurance policy. That's going to be a really exciting thing I'm going to do today. Nobody wants to buy insurance. They want protection. They want safety. They want peace of mind. And there are lots of ways that people are making workplaces safer. And because of that, you're seeing the rates gradually decline in most states. The U.S. is weird because all the regulation is state by state. And so the pricing is done state by state. But there is, I think, real progress going on. There also is progress going on in terms of how you handle the claims. So I think in general, people think about AI and it's just sort of fairy dust that you sprinkle on a problem and the problem goes away. That doesn't happen, but there are some very targeted uses of AI in workers' comp, so that when a claim starts, you can look at it and you can say, this is likely to become a complicated one. Maybe I ought to focus on that now and get one of my best people focusing on that now. And you can look at others and say, this is pretty simple. We're just going to make a payment. We're going to do whatever we have to do. We're going to help the person, get the person back to work, whatever.
And yet today they're all sort of treated with the same amount of weight coming through, right? And we find all these bottlenecks of unnecessary bottlenecks, right?
That's the thing. And that's where the technology is starting to be applied by some of these TPAs, third-party administrators, and others, and is making progress. People are also realizing that there are these psychosocial, as they call them, aspects to workers' comp. So it's not just, oh, Paul has a cut finger. We're going to treat all the cut fingers the same. And obviously the issues are more serious than that. But you don't just look at them. You also look at who Paul is and where he is in his career and what sort of financial stresses he has and all these other things. And you look at the environment and decide, okay, this makes Paul more or less likely to go out and hire a lawyer and maybe make something more complicated. There also are, and this is where you guys are playing a role, are analyses of doctors. So you decide that these are the really good doctors in this area. So we're going to try to steer somebody to that doctor, those doctors, rather than just telling the person, good luck, go find somebody and talk to us after you've had your appointment.
And so IMEs is something that's top of mind for us. And it might have even been how we found you, but you've created several articles and videos about IMEs and specifically the drawbacks for them. And right. So
Right.
Can you unpack that a little bit for me?
Yeah.
Like what makes a good IME or a bad one? Like
Right.
from your
And
perspective?
it's not to say that every defense medical, and we call them defense medical exams on the plaintiff side, but it's not to say a defense medical exam is going to always be bad. What becomes bad is when you have a doctor that is routinely abusing the biases, if you will, that's inherent within a defense medical exam routinely. In those cases, you have to be watchful. That's why it's good to have your ear to the community of your colleagues, because we do talk. We have listservs here in San Diego. And then we start seeing who are the new defense doctors that the insurance are using for these defense medical exams. And so depending on which doctor that's going to be, I'll go to that exam. Most of the time I'll be going to the exam with my clients, and it's very, I don't go in there with, hey, I'm recording this, unless I absolutely need to, but that's really rare. I just go in there with the expectation that we're both professionals, this defense doctor's doing their job, and they're going to write the report based on the medicine, not based on their bias. And then if it is a biased type of report, then of course either we settle the case or we'll let the community of the jurors decide who's more credible here. But I think that's the only part where it gets bad, is when you have a defense doctor that's beholden to the insurance company's interest to get more business, if you will, because they're providing these more of a biased opinion. But there are a lot of good defense doctors I've worked with in San Diego over the years that are not in that category, I must say. Yeah. And that's nice to see, because we're all professionals just doing our best for our individual clients at the end of the day.
First of all, the public needs to know that Arizona is one of 21 states with their own safety plan. So basically, Arizona has its own state-sponsored division of OSHA. It's housed in the Industrial Commission building. And so Arizona is one of 21 states that have this. The rest of the states are basically governed by the federal OSHA. So what federal OSHA is saying is that Arizona OSHA is not up to federal standards, essentially. So for example, in 2012, Arizona failed to implement residential construction fall protection requirements, which federal OSHA requires. So that's what they're essentially saying is, we're going to pull you out of that one of 21 states, Arizona, and basically wipe out the Arizona state-sponsored division of OSHA, and then the feds will just come in here and take it over, essentially. So
wow,
that's
okay.
Yeah, so that's open to comment. So whenever you pass rules or attempt to pass rules, it's subject to public comment. And so I think that's what we're waiting for, the final decision to come down.
Is there a consensus of whether this is a good thing or a bad thing? Does it depend on who you are or what side you're on? Like what's your assessment of it?
I mean, I know I know many people at the Industrial Commission, obviously, and the Industrial Commission thinks it's ridiculous, and they think they should keep, that house within their building, and they think they're doing a good enough job. But I mean, I just want what's best for the workers. So if Arizona's, division of OSHA is not up to snuff, then let the feds take it over. I just want safe work environments, basically.